Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to Bred to Win, with plenty of bloodstock news after another sensational day of spring racing around Australia. The exciting speed son of So You Think Peltzer, with some wonderful first foals at Twin Hills Stud, including one very special filly to the Bred to Win team. And enormously successful owner and breeder Alan Bell in Arrowfield Stud's Horse Who Made You Love Racing. That's all soon, but we start with our Aushorse news of the week. Saturday proved a red-letter day for the Godolphin A team, with feature race successes for the champ Animo, Alt Cabin and Allegron, as well as another 5 races in Victoria and New South Wales won by the blue team.
Up goes Animo and the George Main Stakes, breaking clear.
Animo's win in the Group 1 Royal Randwick feature, the George Main Stakes, was his 5th success at the highest level. The son of Street Boss took his earnings to $5.8 million. He's from the Redute's Choice mare Anamato, a Group 1 winner herself, from the family of Grand Army, dealer principal and drum. Animo's sire, Street Boss, now stands at Darley's Kelvinside Stud in New South Wales and is in fine fettle as the new covering season begins. A dual Group 1 winner in the US, Street Boss is another of the successful sire sons of Winx's sire, Street Cry. They include Street Sense and Shocking, auguring well for Animo to carry on this growing dynasty of a sire line in Australia in the years to come.
But it's all aft cabin at 1400 metres is going to stride in this colt.
A week after Golden Miles Ming Dynasty success, another of the Darley A team, Astern, this week had aft cabin battle a severe storm to win the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. As the heavens opened, the seaworthy named aft cabin swam through the heavy rain with ears pinned back and a winning intention. The colt is from the Lonhro mare Shelters, a full sister to Group 1 winner Benfica, who's also thrown stakes winners Multaja and Veronillo, and comes from the same dam line as Queen of the Turf Stakes winner Neroli and champion filly Riverina Charm. Astern is building quite a record of 3-year-old success in the early months of the new season. He's a son of Medaglia d'Oro from Exceed and Excel mare Essaouira, a descendant of star fillies La Baraka and Triscay, and also dam of the other Elise, a triple Group 1 winner. We recently filmed Essaouira's dam Elise, daughter of Rory's Jester and La Baraka, as a retired mare at Darley Woodlands for an upcoming Thoroughbreds Argo story on the care of retired broodmares. With this sort of generational breeding, you can see why the Darley team is so invested in the success of her young sire grandson, Astern. Allegron was successful for the Darley team in the Group 3 Kingston Town Stakes and is by Teofilo from the family of Pravashi and Pure Joy. While at the other end of the alphabet, Zapateo won the Group 3 How Now Stakes, a brazen bow half-sister to another 3-time stakes winner, Osborne Bulls.
Here comes the champ Nature Strip, taking the lead from Eduardo.
Another Randwick highlight was the shorts, now seen as a dress rehearsal for the $15 million Tab Everest, and the world's best sprinter Nature Strip showed he's thrived since his Royal Ascot success in the Platinum Jubilee Stakes, with a thrilling victory against the best sprinters in the land. The son of Nakoni, who's now based at Widden's Victorian base, is from the Desert Sun mare Strikeline. Desert Sun, of course, the sire of another champion in Sunline.
Madame Pomery, Zugotcha is fighting hard.
It was a great day for the Widden stud team, with all 3 legs of the Darley Princess series so far having fallen to daughters of their son of Northern Meteor, Zoostar. Silver Shadow Stakes winner Zugotcha took victory in the T-Rose Stakes, and she was identified early by Widden's Anthony Thompson in our Inglis Easter Yearling Sale preview.
She's a sassy filly. She's always been that really racy type, big action on her when she walks and floats when she canters around. So here's a lovely filly with a massive pedigree. So hopefully she can really be another one of those fine Zoostar fillies to come off this farm that we're so proud of. And of course Sunlight comes to mind and Madame Rouge at the moment, but yeah, she's certainly in the same paddocks and in the same mould as those two.
Zugotcha was a $500,000 Inglis Easter yearling bought by Chris Waller and Guy Mulcaster and raced by some loyal Waller stable clients, with Widden Stud understandably also in the ownership group. Horse made a rather funky announcement of their 2022 Everest runner through the week, with the Memsie and Sangster Stakes winning daughter of former sales graduate Schwazier Snap Dancer to race for the Inglis team, with co-trainers Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace getting in on the act. And there was another launch through the week of the intriguing Iron concept of syndication based on blockchain ownership. The International Racehorse Owners Network has already tasted success with Cythera, one of their Inglis Easter yearling sale buys, successful in the Lonhro Plate, and they offer ownership at a one-off cost in a total of 7 horses initially, including high-priced yearlings who've already shown plenty of talent on the track. They were bought by former champion Hong Kong trainer John Moore in 2021, and at the launch paraded Booker's brother Oriental Tycoon, who was bought for $420,000 from Yarraman Park and is in training with Peter and Paul Snowden. Also at Randwick's Theatre of the Horse were Eagle Nest by Shalar from the Wedgetail Eagle family and Schnitzel filly Crystalline. Check out their website for more information on an innovative new ownership initiative aimed at attracting a new generation of racing owners, focusing on the sustainability of the racing industry. The Inglis Graduate of the Week is a former Inglis Premier Sale yearling Boogie Dancer, successful at the weekend in the Group 2 1,000 Guineas Prelude at Caulfield.
But it's all Boogie Dancer careering away.
The filly is the first stakes winner for Saboog and was bred by David and Kaylee Johnson at Rushton Park. Her dam search for fame is by Quest for Fame from the 8 Carat family through the Cotter Healy House branch of Dane Wynn Commands and Impaler. She was bought by Wiley Dalziel and Peter Moody for $50,000 at last year's Inglis Premier Sale in Melbourne. Her sire, Saboog, a handsome group-winning son of Schnitzel and full brother to Lightning Stakes winner Snitzeland, stands at Kitchwin Hills Stud at a fee of $8,800. Coming up, the Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week, and I meet a very special new foal, My Own Filly by So You Think Speed Sun Peltzer at Ollie and Amber Tate's Twin Hills Stud. For generations, we've seen top-class New Zealand gallopers bring that success to Australia, and on Saturday at Caulfield, Call Sign Mav did just that.
Here's Call Sign Mav on the outside, running on with I Am Superman.
A 3-time Group 1 winner across the Tasman and now trained by Danny O'Brien, he was too strong for a smart sprint field in the Group 1 Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes. His sire Atlante by Fastnet Rock from Ready for Catherine only stood for 2 seasons at New Zealand's Mapperley Stud for 111 foals with 4 stakes winners, including the now 4-time Group 1 winner Call Sign Mav. He's a close relation to another New Zealand Group 1 winner, the Party Stand, and his dam side contains stallions Volksrad, Royal Academy and a sire featuring later in the show, Red Anchor. A 36% share in Call Sign Mav was bought through the Inglis digital sale by Nelson Thoroughbreds for $85,000 in 2020. In the season just gone, So You Think was runner-up in the champion Australian Sires title, and there's every reason to believe that soon that honour will be his. As well as being a super broodmare sire, dam sire of this year's Golden Slipper winner Fireburn, attention is now turning to the sire sons of So You Think, including the gorgeous and speedy Peltzer at Twin Hills Stud near Cootamundra in New South Wales. He's also part of my latest breeding experience with thoroughbreds, throwing a beautiful filly foal. I've been lucky enough in my experience in the breeding industry to have my own mare, to have bred 3 foals who all raced. I've pinhooked a weanling that went through the English Classic sale and has raced successfully as Rock Artist. But this is the first time I've bred a foal with the intention of selling. And this little filly hiding around the back there is by the gorgeous Peltzer here at Twin Hills Stud out of Mega Mall. And I'd like to take you through the experience of having a new foal all the way through to the yearling sales and beyond. It's such a magnificent thing seeing a foal that you're involved with, you know, for the first time, and it means so much to your owners and clients when you send that message through that there's a lovely new arrival on the ground.
Yes, for the owners it can be years in the making. Often someone's thinking for a year about where they're going to send their mare, and then it's another year for the mare to have the foal after she's been bred to the stallion. So there's a lot of emotional effort that goes into the production of a foal. So it's lovely when you get to call the owner and tell them that they've got a healthy foal, and you know, they're always nice calls to make.
Well, we're here, of course, talking about Peltzer, just an outstanding type, and I just loved his determination as a racehorse. But it's so wonderful to see the first of the Peltzers on the ground.
Yeah, and for someone who stands a stallion, obviously there is great expectation as to what their first foals are going to be like, and there's lots of chat around the industry as to what the first foals of each stallion, you know, how they're looking. So for us, you know, Peltzer, obviously his first foal's hitting the ground this spring, and we're very pleased with them. They're very in his mould, which is fabulous because he's a really lovely horse, a powerful, good-looking, athletic horse. So his foals, you know, so far they give us the same impression.
Yeah, well, looking at him here today, I mean, his coat is incredible, but the power behind, you know, he's just such a lovely example of, you know, a speedy, so you think, but, you know, he looks as if he has the versatility to throw horses that'll get out at 2, as he did, of course, unbeaten as a 2-year-old, and then sort of maybe go on with it with his bloodlines.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting because he's not, in his looks, he's not a typical So You Think. But having said that, he's obviously promoted as one of So You Think's fastest sons. So, look, hopefully he's got the best elements of his father, and that obviously, you know, one of the greatest racehorses Australia's ever had. But also his female pedigree. He's out of an elusive quality mare, and then in turn out of a flying spur mare. So there's plenty of speed on his dam side, and that was reflected in his racing career. Obviously, you know, an unbeaten 2-year-old in 3 starts, and then went on to win, you know, group races at 1,200 metres, 1,500 metres and $1 million race at a mile. He was an excellent racehorse. He is the most glorious looking horse, and it's really exciting that we've got some foals on the ground and lots to look forward to.
Peltzer's getting through now. Peltzer's starting to fly after Anders.
And as you mentioned, those 3 race wins as a 2-year-old. He started out at Kembla Grange and he gave the leaders a start that day, but he just raced straight past Anders to win. He was a bit green, but he showed those early signs of speed and determination.
Yeah, and just, I mean, if you just digest that, beating Anders over 1,000 metres at his first start, like that's good going. Anders was a very quick horse, as we know, but Peltzer was too good for him at his first start. And then, you know, another couple of starts over sprint distances as a 2-year-old, and, you know, winning 3 from 3 as a 2-year-old, including 2 in the city, that's no mean feat. He was a very, very good 2-year-old.
Yeah, those city wins were incredible, obviously. I think sometimes people underestimate how elite Sydney 2-year-old racing is. Saturday Metro racing is you know, it's world class.
Absolutely, and you know, if we look at as a commercial market, what we're trying to promote, or when we're trying to sell horses, people are looking for those horses who can race at the elite level, particularly as 2-year-olds. And Peltzer could do that, you know, and to a certain extent belied his pedigree because being by So You Think, that's not necessarily what you would expect from them. So, yeah, he was a horse right out of the top drawer.
It's Peltzer in front of Prime Star, the outside.
The Stan Fox win, he came back, and this is a race won by some outstanding 3-year-old colts, and he could feel the challenging brigade sort of coming at him, but he just really knuckled down. So again, he had that instinct, the will to win.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what racing is about, isn't it? You've got to have a combination of speed and the will to win, and you know, they've got to want to do it. It's the great unknown, his heart. You know, he's versatile. He could run from off the speed or he could lead. It was interesting, you know, noteworthy. He was a fantastic. His record at Randwick was outstanding. Yes. And I think that, you know, on the one hand you think, well, you know, he obviously didn't only win at Randwick, but on the one hand you think, well, did he just like Randwick? But ultimately, the best racing in Australia, the strongest racing in Australia, is at Randwick. So for him to have won 5 races at Randwick is says a lot about him.
Absolutely. And of course, then there was the $1 million Bondi, a heavy track again. And again, he absolutely waltzed in. It mightn't be a stakes race, but it may as well be.
Yeah, so look, any race where you're running for $1 million is going to be a strong field. And he won very, very well that day.
But Pelter going through his gears, and he does it again.
And then, of course, he came back and won the Eskimo Prince Stakes. And that was first up, maintaining that great record at Randwick as well, beating the likes of Prague and North Pacific, and this time coming from off the pace.
Yeah, that's right. And then, look, they're over 1,200 metres. You probably expect him to, maybe not have that speed that some of the others had over that distance, but he was still too good for some handy horses in Prague and North Pacific, as you said, and racing well fresh, which is interesting. A horse, again, being by So You Think, that can come out and win at 1,200 metres first up says a lot about how talented he was.
It's fabulous to be reunited with Megamall here. She's a lovely mare. She's been such a good mum, and this delightful foal by Peltzer. We're so proud of her already. What do you make of her?
Yes, well, as we say sometimes, Caroline, all foals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And this foal, which is part-owned by you, with some friends, she's a lovely filly. First of the Peltzers, so it's very exciting to see any of them.
Yes.
And she's fairly typical so far. They've got lovely heads, plenty of leg, and a nice shape to them. You and I were just chatting before and just said that, Peltzer's such a lovely looking horse himself. And that's why we, as having a stud, we're looking for horses like Peltzer who are good looking, who then are more likely to have good looking foals. So it's early days, but we're very happy with what we've seen in his progeny.
Yeah, that's right. And the head, she has Peltzer's head to a T. I mean, he's of course by the gorgeous So You Think, but he was a little, he had that sort of dishy colt sort of head, and she has it too. It's really pretty or handsome on him.
At this stage, I'd say they've all got lovely heads, the Peltzers, and that's important because people, they're going to be good-looking horses, I think. And certainly she is very much in the mould of her father.
She's sort of compact, but a bit of leg there as well.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about Peltzer. Obviously, he's by So You Think, so you would expect them to be, So You Think's are big horses. Peltzer himself, body shape, is a very compact horse. He was obviously a yearling who was well sold. He was the highest priced yearling colt by So You Think of his year, and he was a good 2-year-old, won 3 out of 3 as a 2-year-old, and that is all reflected in his body shape and what he looks like. So obviously, if he can impart that to his progeny, we're in good shape.
Some of the other foals you have here by Peltzer are just stunning. I mean, a mare such as Majestic Music, who was a top filly of her generation, raced by the great South Australian breeder Harry Perks. Just a beautiful, beautiful type.
Yeah, that's right. And we've sent him some really nice mares, and friends of Twin Hills have sent him some really nice mares as well. So obviously, mare quality is one half of the equation. And a mare like Majestic Music, she was an outstanding mare, winner of the Edward Manifold and a host of other group races. And his quality colt, a really nice looking colt, and so that's one we're really excited about.
And I just love this one, this colt from Demetria. He's a touch older than the others, but he's from a half sister to a Blue Diamond winner, Samaretti. But he's so strong through the body, and he's got plenty of spunk about him too. Yeah,
he's just a magnificent foal. He's just got the shape and the look, and you can just picture him what he'll look like as a yearling. I think he could be something, in a year's time, could be looking very special. And interestingly, as to be expected, out of a sister to a Blue Diamond winner, he's built like a 2-year-old. So look, nice to see, and a foal that we really like.
And then we looked at this gorgeous filly from Cosmic Powers. She's a mare by not a single doubt. Her first foal by Piero is a stakes winner. And again, a speedy sort of looking girl, as you'd expect looking at mum.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's a really nice filly and a very well-bred filly. And again, indicative of some of the nice mares that have visited Peltzer. Again, looks sharp. She's strong. She's got, a lovely head and a good hindquarter and shoulder. And I think at an early stage with a stallion, there's only so much you can say about foals when they're a month old, except the Peltzers, they've all got nice heads, good hindquarters, and they're athletic. They move well. So that's nice to see it at a very early stage.
And then sadly, you know, sometimes the mares die, and so we do have a beautiful foster mare doing a great job with a colt from Talisa. So the dams are half to Nikita Jane, who of course was by So You Think, a Group 1 winner, and this sort of, you know, taps back into that through Peltzer.
That's right, yeah. We had a mare called Talisa, Senator Peltzer, got a lovely colt, and then sadly when the foal was a couple of weeks old, we lost the mare. But look, happily, you know, one of our neighbours, or sort of neighbours, John North at Bowness Stud, had a foal that had just died, and he happened to mention that to us. So we got the mare and the foal together and fostered the foal onto the mare. He's very happy now with his new mum. So a fantastic result under difficult circumstances. But yeah, he's a nice foal. He's got plenty of nice bit of length to him. Again, one we're very pleased with.
And Peltzer's dam sire is Elusive Quality. I mean, he sired super two-year-olds, Group 1 winning two-year-olds such as Camarilla and Sepoy and you know, so many others that too long a list to name here. I mean, he's probably underrated as a broodmare influence.
Obviously, I did have a lot to do with Elusive Quality while I was working for Darley. What I'd say Elusive Quality does is he gives them speed. You've just mentioned, you know, Sepoy, certainly one of the best two-year-olds of my lifetime by Elusive Quality. Elusive Quality was an excellent stallion and has left a wonderful sire son in Quality Road in America. But I do think, you know, that was the one thing that he really imparted upon them above all else was speed. It's a cliche to say that if he has foals like him, we'll be in good shape, but you know, that's when you've got a horse that looks like Peltzer, you've got a better chance to get foals that are good looking than other stallions. So you know, he's just beautiful.
And it all matters for obviously racing on the racetrack, but we're really looking forward to the little journey with our little filly, the little Megamore filly towards the sales ring and beyond, and all the other foals as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And she's very much her father's daughter. It's lovely to watch them when they're born, lovely to watch them develop, and you hope that they continue to go in the right direction, and I'm sure she will.
Looking at the effect, first of all, of Peltzer's dam sire Elusive Quality, and it is pure speed. While his stakes winners have won past 2,800 metres, his sweet spot for successful produce is 1,200 metres, including July Cup winners Alcohol Free and 10 Sovereigns, Oakley Plate winner Portland Sky, and Hong Kong star Skyfield. Plus he is, of course, also sire of two Group 1 winning Australian two-year-olds Sepoy and Camarilla. Some fascinating statistics regarding Peltzer's sire So You Think. Mares by his best Nick's Tail of the Cat, Testarossa, Choisir, Zabeel and Redout's Choice have around a 2 to 4% stakes winners to runners percentage. But when they go to So You Think, that increases from between 11 to 25%. So You Think is upgrading some mares by almost 900% when they produce stakes winners. Quite outstanding and auguring well for a young sire son such as Peltzer. Nothing more beautiful than a new foal and being involved with them, and I look forward to bringing you more updates on this gorgeous Peltzer filly. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, we're familiar with the famous colours of Alan Bell, Deepfield, Scalacci, Grand Army and more. But who was the champion 3-year-old colt of the 80s he fell in love with? Find out in Arrowfield Studs, the horse who made you love racing.
For me, it was Red Anchor. I was a fairly new vet, just arrived in Sydney, and the second year I was there, happened to get my hands on Red Anchor, and he's still the best horse I've ever had a hand on.
Yeah, what a champion 3-year-old he was. He was such an exciting, beautiful colt, wasn't he?
He was a mighty horse, and there was a big veterinary twist to the story as well, because he had a split frog his whole 2-year-old year, and he campaigned so bravely right through that whole process, and never really gave a yard, and ran at everything, really, which is something we don't do today. And that's how mighty he was to come back at 3 and dominate like he did after having a very busy 2-year-old year. It was a great horse. And
really shows that anything is possible. Any horse can come through. You know, it's fascinating where they can come from.
That's what taught me. I mean, it was a 30 grand horse, and I was starting to get interested in ownership as well as being a veterinarian, and he was the horse that really lit the fuse for me. He made me believe that it was feasible for anyone to have their hands on a great horse like that and be a part of that story. was amazing.
Yeah, and we see now, you know, that legacy of really learning to love racing. Here we saw your own Star Turn, of course, at the Vinery Stud Parade, and he won a Scalacci Stakes named after your champion sprinter. So that love of racing now you've developed into some wonderful ownership stories.
I've had a great and privileged and blessed life in racing, really. It's been fantastic. I've been so lucky along the way. I've had so many iconic horses along that journey, and I encourage anyone that's interested to just have a crack, give it a try like I did, and you never know what it'll take you.
That is Bred to Win for this week. Join me again next week as we bring you Kiora Studs, Young Guns, Farnan and Prague with their first foals on the ground, and New Boy in 2022, Captivant. Plus, Gus Rowland returns to Bred to Win with another great reminiscence in Arrowfield Studs, Horse Who Made You Love Racing. That and much more next week. I'm Caroline Searcy. Look forward to seeing you then.